Who should really consider the XGIMI Titan Dual Laser 4K home projector? Who can safely walk away? And does its price make sense for a typical family looking to upgrade movie nights? If you've ever stood in a dimly lit living room, scrolling through endless Amazon listings, wondering whether a 4K laser title is just hype, you're not alone. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The hesitation most buyers feel isn't just about the price tag, it's about whether the projector will actually fill a room, hold up after a few months, and avoid the classic pitfalls of home cinema gear that promises cinema-size images, but delivers a dim, washed-out picture on a weekday. Let's walk through the real-world setup, daily usability, and those hidden trade-offs that often go unmentioned until the warranty card is opened. First, imagine you're setting up a weekend movie marathon in a medium-sized living room with a 12-foot screen. The Titan Dual's 5000 lumens claim sounds impressive on paper, but the practical question is, does that brightness actually cut through ambient light without needing blackout curtains? In my research, I found that laser projectors in this class typically keep a usable image even when the living room lights are at a low warm setting. The 0.78-inch HEP imaging chip, being XGIMI's own development, is designed to concentrate light more efficiently than older DLP chips, meaning the image stays vivid rather than turning a bluish-gray when the sun peeks through a window. For families who can dim the lights but don't want to black out every room, this projector seems to actually deliver on that bright enough for everyday use promise. Now, think about the practical workflow of getting that 4K image up and running. The XGIMI Titan Dual comes with an automated lens shift module, which takes a lot of the guesswork out of aligning the image. In the field, users often complain that adjusting lens shift manually can be a pain in the neck, especially for taller ceilings. Here, the motorized module lets you press a button on the remote and watch the image move up or down until it's perfectly centered. This is a real convenience if you're mounting it on a ceiling or using the optional floor stand mount, no more climbing a ladder, loosening screws, and hoping the picture lands where you want it. The floor stand mount itself is sturdy, with a wide base that prevents wobble, and the kit includes all the necessary hardware to bolt it directly to a wall or sit it freestanding. For people who aren't comfortable with a permanent ceiling mount, the stand gives a relatively low-commitment way to test the projector's performance first. But who should skip this unit? The main red flag appears for those who are strict about ultra-high-resolution content. While the Titan Dual advertises true 4K laser, the effective resolution you'll experience depends heavily on the source material. Most streaming services still deliver 1080p or 4K at lower bit rates, and the projector's AI processor does upscale, which can look decent, but won't replace native 4K content. If you're a cinephile who only watches 4K Blu-ray discs and expects every pixel to be as crisp as a theater screen, you might find the AI upscaling underwhelming. Similarly, renters with strict lease agreements might struggle with the ceiling mount installation, even though the floor stand is an alternative, because the ceiling bracket still requires a permanent hole in the ceiling. In those cases, a more plug-and-play mini projector could be a smoother fit. On the upside, the Titan Dual's dynamic contrast ratio of 5:0:0:0:0:0 to 1 is a headline number that translates into deeper blacks and more distinct color separation when you dim the lights. In practice, that means a horror movie's shadows hold their menace, and a sports broadcast's greens don't bleed into the sidelines. The AI processor, built by XGIMI itself, does on-the-fly scene optimization, adjusting brightness and color temperature based on the content. I saw a review where a user noted the processor automatically dialed down brightness for animated shows, preventing eye strain during long watching sessions. That kind of automatic adaptation is a practical strength, especially for households with kids who might watch the projector for an hour or two before bed. However, there are weaknesses that become apparent after the initial excitement fades. One is fan noise. High lumens laser units need active cooling, and the Titan Dual's fan can be audible when the projector is operating at full 5000 lumens output. In a quiet room, that hum can become a distraction during dialogue-heavy movies. The noise level drops significantly once you lower the brightness, but then you're trading off the very advantage that made the projector stand out in the first place. Another consideration is the lamp's longevity claim. Laser modules typically last 20,000 hours, but the real test is how the color accuracy drifts over time. XGIMI doesn't publish a detailed decay curve, so you're essentially betting on the brand's reputation. If you plan to run the projector for several hours every weekend, you'll want to keep an eye on any slight yellowing the image might develop after a few years. Let's